Yo, you know who it is. Griddle's hot, rumors fly, but the Baps still banging. Let's go! I'm the Batman, Belfast, born and bred. Flipping fried eggs while they talk on threads. They tweet that beef, but I bring real meat. Bacon stacked high, Bap game elite. They chat like they know me, they don't know jack. Talking mad smoke while I'm serving a stack. Hash brown hot, with the yolk that runs. I break more fast than 100 nuns. They hate that.
So welcome to another edition of the Belfast Bapcast, and this evening another solo edition. Tonight's title is Northern Ireland's trauma-based economy and who profits. So here's a quick question that nobody wants to answer. So how much money is being made off European? Our history of the fact that people have still not moved past that. Because while the working class people in Belfast, Protestant and Catholic, are struggling with real world chaos, rent, addiction, self-harm, violence, there's a whole industry quietly thriving, and it's called the trauma economy, and it's making absolutely millions. So I've been looking into this for the past couple of days. So one particular one is victims and survivors service spending. So in 2023 alone, victims and survivors service in Northern Ireland was allocated over 21 million, and that includes nearly 4 million that was set aside for trouble-related trauma. Now ask yourself, where does this money go? So let's get a quick breakdown of it. So we have, here we go, 38.7% of it goes to actual victims, 42% goes to non-governmental organisations, NGO and consultants, and then 18.9% to admin and operational costs. And as you can see, the spending has exponentially increased year on year for the VSS. Now, obviously there is victims out there. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but it's where the actual money is going to. So was it spent on actual victims or consultants? I think it's clear to see that it was mainly spent on consultants and admin fees. You can't feed the nation with HR training, but you can make a fortune pretending to. Now, according to the Policy Exchange, Northern Ireland has spent 840 million to 1.4 billion pounds on legacy inquiries, litigation and related costs, and another 1.3 billion is incoming. That's over 2 billion to keep the past alive. It's no wonder Northern Ireland is struggling to move past. So who benefits? So obviously follow the money. The law firms, the trauma consultants, the non-governmental organisations, NGOs, the government departments, all of them need the conflict to stay alive, to stay in business. Meanwhile, the PSNI spends 20 million a year chasing historical cases, and that's enough to put 400 officers on the street. But that's obviously not where the money goes. So ask yourself, is it about truth or is it about control and keeping us in that traumatic state? The weaponization of identity. So victimhood has become a political currency in Northern Ireland and beyond. Being a victim now opens doors to compensation, speaking tours, advisory roles. You get listened to more if you're offended, not if you're offering solutions. The more broken you are, the more funding you attract. Peace industry elites. So there are people out there who have built entire careers basically off conflict resolution and off the back of people's traumas. Many trauma experts, reconciliation leaders and NGO directors are making six-figure salaries. Community leaders and cross-community programs are rinsing the peace money pipeline, and the grift isn't peace, it's a perpetual process. And the trauma it's a tool. They're using them as social control. So if people believe they're fragile, they're easier to steer. Schools teach that your feelings must come first, not truth, not challenge, not resilience, not being accountable for your own actions. Young people are taught to obsess over pain and not move past it. Therapy culture has replaced common sense. The same system that underfunds addiction services is funds 3 different trauma workshops in a single neighbourhood. It's it's very, very imbalanced. And the next point is not a sectarian point, but from the outside looking in, it's pretty clear to see. So Catholic trauma is documented and Protestant trauma is denied. The working class Protestant community feels erased, and no one funds their grief. Guilt has become pretty much one-sided, and suicide, addiction and identity crisis are raging but ignored. While there's trauma tourism in the falls, there's silence in the Shankill, and that may not sit well with everyone, and it's not coming from a sectarian point of view, but it does seem very one-sided about who's allowed to display trauma and who's not, and it is what it is. So global NGOs feeding off NGI. So the international peace industry are using Northern Ireland as a testing ground. So the likes of Doge at the moment, who are investigating USAID, European Peace Plus, Open Society Foundations run by George Soros, they all pump funds into Northern Ireland trauma projects. So they're testing the frameworks of these things on us before rolling them out in the likes of Palestine, Africa and urban America. So Northern Ireland is pretty much a global case study, and we're on unmanaged conflict economies basically, and post-conflict. So we're pretty much the beta test for their future control systems. And I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty clear in recent times that both Protestant and Catholic in Northern Ireland now have common worries and common goals, and the differences between us are very, very slight. And I think it's about time we look past that. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the Belfast Bapcast again, and if you could like, share and subscribe, and visit belfasttees.co.uk for any merchandise.
Yo, you know who it is. Griddle's hot, rumors fly, but the Baps still banging. Let's go! I'm the black man, Belfast, born and bred, flipping fried eggs while they talk on threads. They tweet that beef, but I bring real meat, bacon stacked high. Bap game elite, they chat like they know me, they don't know jack. Talking mad smoke while I'm serving a stack. Hash brown hot with the yolk that runs. I break more fast than 100 nuns. They hate, they try to cancel my stand. Still flipping baps with one greasy hand. False accusations and I ain't shook. My grill speaks louder than 1,000 looks. Yo, I serve baps, not opinions, fam. You want